Welcome to Wild West Garage. We're in the old shop. There's the 50 Chev cab. Nothing much has happened on that lately. My workbench over there. But this is what we're getting into today. You can see that little milling machine drill press combo thing over there. I guess milling machines are just big specialized drill presses, more or less, but that's what that is. And I've got this lathe. So a friend of mine is he's getting on in years, and he has a degenerative condition. It affects his brain, and he's losing his memory. I'm not exactly sure what his diagnosis is, but his wife was concerned that he was going to hurt himself with this stuff. So she wanted it out of the garage, so I went and picked it up. So I'm getting a lot of use out of these machines. Actually, I did a lot of drilling with that already. And I've done a little bit of work with this. I've had this stuff for about a month now, I guess. But it's a really good little piece of equipment. Anyways, my wife is, she's into pottery, and so part of that genre is they like to recycle some of their clay. So say like if they have a piece that's dried, somebody's made something or just something went wrong, they let the clay dry, and then she brings it home to crush it into small pieces, like 3/8 of an inch, I think it's supposed to be. And she's been doing that manually in a big pot with a big. I've got this big hunk of steel, and she just keeps smashing it down into this pot, breaking this clay up, and it's pretty labor intensive. And she's got shoulder problems, and so I've decided I'm going to make her a jaw crusher, a small one. And so what I've got to do, I've got a shaft, and I'll show you that in a minute. I've got to make it like an offset, like a cam, basically, so it can make the jaw oscillate, open and close. So let's take a look at the shaft, and I'm going to talk about what I'm going to do. Morgan's Machine Shop. So here's this piece of shafting, and what this is it's a cylinder rod from an old cylinder that I had to replace the rod on because it had some rust pits in it and stuff. So it's 1.5 inches, and I've got to turn the ends down, so I'm going to come in 6 inches on either side, and then I'm going to end up with a 6-inch piece in the middle. I'm going to machine it down to 1 inch on both sides, and then it's going to be like a cam. So I'm not a machinist. I've looked at a few videos on YouTube how to do this. I found some with some shorter pieces, but you know, I mean, I've got an idea how to do it. I don't have all kinds of time to just sit and watch YouTube all night long, all day long, so I'm just going to get on with it. So what I did was I faced this side off, and you can see I've center punched that right there. That's I'm not gonna say it looks like, it doesn't look right to me actually now that I'm looking at it. That's a little bit, yeah, I guess it's okay. It's I'm gonna end up with a 1-inch shaft offset to one side here. So so that'll give me about half an inch of wobble or throw on the jaw. So I think that'll be enough. So anyways, well, now what I got to do is I got to drill a hole in that. I can't really do it on the machine, so I'm just going to do it by hand with a hand drill, and then I'm going to have to put my 4-jaw chuck on. I've got a 3-jaw on there right now, and get this thing set up, and I'll show you how I do that. I've got an idea. I don't know if it's going to work, but you're going to come along for the ride. All right, let's take a look at this. So I've got this set up in here. And so what I did to get this where I want it, because it's got to be offset, that's why I got the 4-jaw chuck. I've got it offset in there. And so you see it's got 2 planes, right? So I put this offset on the end here in alignment with this plane right here. So if so now I've got because I've got this way, right? It's level. So if I come in here and touch off on that, see? 12 and then 2. I don't know what this is. It's inches, I guess. So it's two notches past the 12, right? So if I back that off, run it all the way back over here. And touch on this side. Just a little bit. Yeah, depending on how hard you hit it. So it's 3 notches past. So what that tells me is I got to just back this off. Rotate this so I can get to that screw. I'm just going to tighten this a little bit more. So tighten that. Just going to move that over some. Back to this plane again. Bring this back over here. Touch off. 12-2, 12-2, 12-2. Bring it back to the other side. No, that's more now. One of my centers. I don't know. It's going almost to the 0 now. Okay, well, I'll run it back. Well, it's going to the 0 as well. I think I got it pretty good. See that? So they're both kind of registering the same. So I got that axis looking good. So now I'll rotate it to the other axis. 90 degrees, roughly. And I can't do it exactly 90 degrees because I don't have any way to measure that. So, and then I'll run in and touch off here. So you see, I got 11, 3, 11, 3. So wind it back, wind it in. Eleven, 4, 11, 3, 11, 3. I mean, if I really want to force it, I can make it go further, but I think we're good. It's time to start machining. getting close. We're within about 15 thou of an inch. So take another couple of light passes and have to move on to this side. Didn't quite get it. This is the flush side, or supposed to be the flush side, but it's stepping down a little bit, so I won't have quite half an inch's throw out of this thing. But that's okay. It'll still work. One inch. I think it's a little bit skinnier down here. Couple thou. Cutting it at a bit of a taper. See? I'm no machinist, so this is as good as it gets. That's pretty close to an inch there. Oops. Yeah, it's got a bit of a taper. Yeah, it's pretty close. Pretty darn close for a mechanic. Yeah. It's a little bit undersized on this side. Anyway, we're good. So I don't know if you can see that, but right here there is a step, and there's this spot, like this band of metal right here, that the machining's all wavy through here, and I can't feel a step on the back. I can't feel a step there, can't feel a step there, but I can feel a step right here in this area. So it's just all through here. There's a hard chunk of metal right in here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the cutting head, or the tool holder, out of the way, and I'm going to get in here and I'm going to grind this down with a flapper disc and get that down to where it's not, so it's actually below, slightly below my desired dimension. I think I'm going to do that. I might change my mind here in a second. So maybe some of you saw this already. Here's the problem. See that? I didn't realize that this guy, this cutoff tool, was sticking out. So that's kind of too bad, but it's not a big deal. It's not really that's crappy. I don't even think it went really, it just mucked up the surface. It didn't really go below it too much. So I'll just move this out of the way and I'll take another pass on that and clean that up. That's that's what you get when you're an amateur. So there we are. We've got an eccentric shaft. Eccentric? I think that's the right word. I'm really annoyed that I did that, but I don't think it's going to affect anything. It's not really just kind of, it took the chrome off for sure, but I don't think it really reduced the size of it much. It's hard to tell. I guess I could measure it, but Doesn't feel like it reduced the size of it much. Anyways, it's I just have to, I'll have to flip this around now. Put the 3-jaw back on. I'll flip it around and then support it with the center support. And I'll clean the rest of this off. I could just cut it off here actually, but I just I want some options for this thing. I might want to put like a flywheel on one side. So I'll have a pulley on this side, and I might want to put a flywheel on just to keep the thing rolling, give it some inertia. So other than my little mistake here with the tool holder, it's turned out pretty good. So this is the side that I just finished. And you can kind of see where the transition is there just because I was touching off on it, or just touching it, and it made a couple of scratches on the original machine surface. But I realized as I was doing this, trimming this part down, that what I should have done is left this section, the previously machined section here, a bit oversized, and then I could have just made a pass right across here to get it down to get the whole thing down to the right dimension. Or like I'm just kind of, I don't have plans for this thing, so if this was the actual length the shaft needed to be, it might have been a good idea to make this a little bit longer and then just cut off the piece that was, you know, that needed to be machined down. I may end up doing that anyways. I may end up cutting this off eventually, but I just wanted to give it some room. My pillow block bearing is going to be here. Then this will be sticking out. I can put a flywheel on it if I need to. This is going to be the drive side, I think. But, you know, these shafts may not need to be this long anyway, so I might end up, like I said, cutting them off. But at least I've got this thing made now. It's gonna work. Hopefully half an inch of throw is not too much. I guess if it is, I can just machine this down a bit, but then I have to get smaller bearings. But I think it'll be fine for what I'm doing. You know, I guess if I try to crush too hard a material in this, it might bend the shafts, but I kind of doubt it because it's going to have a lot of leverage up top. All the crushing gets done mostly at the bottom, unless you put a great big boulder in there. But I'm not using this to crush boulders anyways. I might be tempted to try it, mind you, but it's just to crush clay. It's going to be soft, so it should work just fine. Okay, there we go. You've been shafted. Not my usual content, but I'm definitely not a machinist. I play around with machining equipment, but that's about as far as I'm going to go with that. And you know, it's for my own enjoyment mostly. I like building stuff. I like building machines, that's for sure. Most of the equipment that I have in my shop, as far as, you know, I've got my bead roller. I built a little English wheel. I built a tube roller. I just like building the machines. I like building them almost as much as I like using them. Maybe even a little bit more actually. So there's some other machines I got up in my head here. But we'll get this little rock crusher thing built, and I don't know if I'll go through the whole process of building it on the channel. I might take a few pictures along the way and show you how it works down the road, but you can let me know if you want to see that. So anyways, Happy New Year to everybody, and hope to see you a lot more in the new year once I get rolling here again. I've taken a couple weeks off now just to spend with my family and mess around a bit. My wife's not feeling too good. She's had a bad cold for the last 4 or 5 days, so that's a bit of a bummer, but she's feeling better today, so hopefully by the new year she'll be in full swing again. We'll all be one big happy family again. All right, see you next time.